Watch Who?
Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yeah, watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
I don't know, that's how... Yeah, okay. No, sorry. No, I don't know. I feel a bit strange, everyone, because I had the vaccine the other day, and I've been ill for the last 24 hours, like really bad.
We're both part one of the vaccine.
I don't know. I don't think I'm 100%.
So I swear did we watch or did we just... No, we watched. We didn't record after I had the vaccine because I didn't feel well.
Well, we didn't feel well, and then you did the Ice Warriors. So do you know what? I have more respect for you coming to record the Ice Warriors the day after you had the vaccine or however long it was.
It was like, 2 or 3 days after, yeah.
Because I'm like just about 24 hours later and I do not feel 100% at all. So we'll see how this goes this week, everyone.
Yeah. So we've both had...
But we've both had the first thing.
Step one
of the vaccine, so that's good. There we go. If you're tracking COVID, listening to our podcast... It was a year ago. I
was 3 weeks ago. I had my vaccine, yeah. So I was a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah, so there we are, everybody. That's our time capsule moment. And also apologies if I am not 100% with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our update. That's our update for this week.
We both just had it's because you had I had it bad. I had all the flu symptoms. I felt rough. I was really ill. And so Mark preemptively was like, I think I'm going to be ill.
I didn't think I'd be that ill though. It was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
Yesterday was just
I told you, I did warn you.
I know you said, but I didn't think it would be that bad.
So we were both really rough with it.
I don't know. It's like when Ian got ill in the Sensorites or whatever.
When Ian got ill?
Yeah.
Ian doesn't get ill, does he?
No, he did. He drank their poison water or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's how I equate it, I think.
It's rough. It's really rough. But
when Stephen was ill and Katerina had to look after him. It was like that. I was like unconscious Dalek's master plan.
At least you were more prepared because I prepared
because you said, yeah.
So I brought round heat pads for you.
Do you know what it is? That's Susan in The Edge of Destruction lying on that bed with the thing on. That's what it was.
You had Cool and Suze for your head.
That was
I remember at 3 a.m, all I wanted was something cool on my head.
Yeah.
With me. So I preemptively bought some for the second vaccine, second shot, and I gave Mark a pack when he's got his letter, you're going to want these. And you did.
Yeah.
So anyway.
There we are.
Yeah. So make sure people, you have your paracetamol and ibuprofen to hand, and make sure you have things to keep, if you have flu.
Keep warm,
keep warm and cool. Your temperature just goes all over the shop.
It was just terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's no way really then to just segue into today's story, Fury from the Deep, but we'll just go straight into it then. We watched this whole story separately.
Yeah.
Because it's not on Britbox, and I thought it was.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll watch it on DVD, you watch it on Britbox, and then you were like, it's not there. Yeah. So I had to go around and give you the DVD after I'd watched it. So
yeah.
So there we go. So I had this story on cassette.
Right here it is.
Which I still have. And I think this is the very first piece of Doctor Who merchandise that I ever had. I think this predates the chase, 1993. So Fury from the Deep, it's really weird because, okay, you got the soundtrack of this.
Yeah.
So the sound of it is very familiar to me throughout my childhood. Although it's a weird one, it's presented by Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. Right. So the way it's narrated isn't like how we've had before with Fraser Hines saying, Jamie walks up to the top. It's Tom Baker as the Fourth Doctor saying, myself, Jamie and Victoria are on the beach.
Oh.
In my second incarnation or however it was really weird. But this was, for a long time, this was the only sort of version of Fury from the Deep that I knew. And I don't know, I think it might have been edited a bit because I'm not sure if they've managed to fit 6 episodes onto here. And the sound quality is not great. And to be honest, when was this? When did I get this? I was very, very young.
Yeah.
And I was given this, right, as a bit of a distraction, I think. So I was given this on my brother's birthday. I remember this. And I think it was given to me as here, have this. Your brother's having a party with his friends. It was like a medieval party.
Aww.
And it was like, here, have this. And keep out the way and don't annoy your brother and his friends. Because my brother's older than me, so I was like the annoying younger brother. So I think this was this was the earliest sort of piece of Doctor Who merchandise.
And then little Mark went and listened to this.
And I went to listen to Fury from the Deep. And I remember listening to it a lot, but never really understanding what was going on. There was a lot of shouting.
A lot of screaming.
Screaming, shouting. I wouldn't say, even though I had this and listened to this a lot, I wouldn't say I know the story well in a way. The sounds of it, like the music is very prominent, all that sort of sort of noises. That's what I remember from the Deep more than anything. So yeah, it's really strange now to actually be able to watch it because it came out on DVD only like last year. This animation,
oh, really?
It's like the newest animation. So yeah, it's very strange to go for that to watching this. And so, like watching the animation, it's like I know that sound so well, and it's really strange to see the pictures. To it. Yeah,
I bet.
But there we go. And I've got the cassette. I would never get rid of this cassette.
No,
because this is like because I had Evil of the Daleks later on and stuff, and I've got rid of it because I don't really want the cassette anymore.
Yeah.
But I will never get rid of this Fury from the Deep cassette. I don't know if it's still I don't know what condition
Probably.
it's still in, but.
Oh,
there we go.
Look at it. Look at the Doctor's face as well.
Yeah. Talking about Fury from the Deep, can I just put a bookmark in for next week? There's another story I want to tell, which is going to be much longer, and I'm just aware of time. Okay. About me being given the 1994 yearbook as a distraction for something. Okay. But we will go into that. There's story within story within story in that, so we'll talk about that next week. You've got to remind me about that.
You were just, Doctor Who was just used as a distraction for you for your whole childhood.
I don't know. For this one, this was keep out of the way of your brother. But the 1994 one I've got a theory on, which I will tell you next week. There we are.
One to come back for, listeners.
Okay, well, let's get into the story then, because I have no idea what you think.
No, we didn't watch it together, so.
And we'll do our usual, trying to go through as we try.
Yeah.
So the TARDIS lands in a funny way, coming down onto the water.
Yeah.
No reason at all, I don't think. Really odd. And it lands in the water and... Oh, no!
What?
I haven't done our introduction.
No, I know you haven't. Let's carry on.
No! Oh, no! Oh.
Go on, Mark.
Should I just do it now or should I edit it in later?
Just say it.
Should I do it now and edit it?
No, just do it now. It's funny. I'm going to keep the screaming and we'll just have you do it.
Well, you join us, listener. We're in the middle of the sea. We're in this lovely little dinghy that we've set up everything on.
Of course.
I totally forgot we're in the sea, everyone.
This is Mark's still recovering.
Can you take this oar a minute while I carry on with the recording? Are you all right with that oar? Are you right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. We'll take it in turns to row. We're rowing to the shore. We might take a while.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're right with that oar?
I'm fine with this all.
Okay, fine. There we are. You join us in the sea. The North Sea, possibly? Yeah.
The sea.
The North Sea.
Sure. We're in the sea.
I can't believe I forgot the intro.
It's fine by me.
I told you it's because I'm not well.
I know. Mark, it's fine. I'll carry the podcast today. It's fine.
I know. I'm going to need some help this week. Anyway, the TARDIS lands on the water, which is very odd. And they row to the shore.
So there's footage of that still?
Well, the TARDIS landing, that one bit is footage, yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, Sarah watched all the DVD extras as well.
I know,
I did
Mark
not
was really
ask
proud.
her or force her. She just done this on herself.
Well, I thought Mark could make me, so I thought I might as well watch it. So yes, we see that footage as well.
Yeah.
Of it. Because it's weird. It looked like a little piece of paper to begin with. It's only when it gets closer that you realise, it's an object. But it looked like this flat piece of paper just like blowing in the wind to begin with.
I don't know why they did it, because you could have just had the sea and then the TARDIS lands as normal. It could still be out in the sea. I don't know why it has to drop down. No reason at all.
Must have just been, they realised they could do that look, so they wanted to do it maybe.
They're off onto the beach and you have all the foam and they play around in the foam and everything.
Yeah.
And...
I reckon, there's so much foam in this.
Well, yeah, there is.
I reckon they had a lot of fun with, the foam.
Yeah.
I reckon because it's just so different having that much foam.
Have you ever been to a foam party?
No.
I've never been to a foam party. I don't know why.
We'll do our own foam party.
I don't know why. Like, I don't know, it was a sort of, well, I suppose it was like a...
They would
they're
have
not
them
around as much anymore. I don't think there'll ever be one now, but...
They had them at Cardiff Uni.
Yeah, it's like a sort of a uni type
It's a uni thing, but obviously we didn't do that.
I didn't know. Well, my
Welsh
uni,
Crawl.
they never had... No, I didn't have... I don't know. I say I'd like to go to a foam party. I probably wouldn't like it. There's a club in London with a swimming pool in the middle of it.
Right.
That would be cool.
Would it?
I'd rather that than a foam party, I think.
I think I prefer a foam party. A foam party, like, at least you know what you're getting. Whereas, like, I don't want to be in a swimming pool when everyone's getting drunk.
Yeah, I don't know
Like,
about
because
that.
people are just pissing it.
Yeah.
And then
yeah, I don't
people
know
will
how...
just be drunk in it.
I don't know. But foam, I don't know, you'll be slipping all over the place. Health and safety.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Anyway,
I'm all
I've
for
never
foam.
been... foam party. It's passed us by.
All I remember is that they said if you go to a foam party, don't wear clothes you like because they'll get stained. That's all I remember.
What kind of stuff is it? What kind of chemicals is it?
Foam.
So there's a lot of foam on the beach here. And they're talking about this gas pipeline and everything. And, do you know what? I forgot to look up. In terms of, like, gas and the gas rigs out at sea.
Yeah.
In the 60s, would that have been quite a new thing, I suppose? Just in terms of Doctor Who at this time, they're talking about the environment a lot, with the Ice Warriors and stuff, and they're sort of preempting stuff. And this is set sort of in present times, or maybe just slightly into the future a little bit. I don't know if that, for viewers, I was just thinking, is that going to be a known, the gas and the pipe? It must have been, I suppose. But fairly new technology, I'm trying to say.
Yes, yeah, I guess so. I mean, because we've gone from coal being like, the main source.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So I guess gas is like
the new thing.
Yeah, it must be.
I suppose it's like talking about fracking now.
Yeah.
Which is, it exists and it's a thing, but it's sort of a new thing that might be a little bit controversial. I don't know.
It's very controversial. It's fracking, yeah.
But I don't know. I suppose gas hasn't been around that long.
RuPaul, you know about the whole RuPaul thing and fracking, don't you?
What? Oh, God.
So there was an article, and I can't remember how it came, but RuPaul basically has a lot of land.
Right.
Like, has a farm base, a massive farm, land. I can't remember the details properly, so, I'm sort of paraphrasing a lot here. But basically it was like, I've done all right during lockdown, even though I've not been working, blah, blah, blah. Like, my land makes money from whatever. In short, it's fracking.
Right, okay.
And it caused this whole controversy because, hang on, RuPaul just basically is fracking, loads of land.
Oh, so, no, I didn't know that. Okay, right.
But I can't remember the exact wording of it, but...
Anyway, well, I don't think RuPaul has anything to do with the...
No.
the gas industry that Robson
wherever.
runs.
It's like, where is it set? In, Essex, Cornwall? I don't know, it's down south.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I didn't really look it up. I should have, but
no.
I thought I was thinking that gas in this time is a new sort of thing that.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to do. That's what Doctor Who does well. It's like takes these new things that people might know a little bit about but not much, and then turns it into this monster story. But I think it might be slightly in the future because they've got video phones in the control room and stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You are going a little bit sci-fi with it, but it's still grounded in some kind of reality.
It's very over the top sort of, the whole the studios. Oh, gosh, my brain's gone.
The animation.
No,
the script.
No.
The setting.
The setting, yeah. The setting, the underground, they're massive and they've got these really high-tech sort of, labs and stuff.
Oh, well, have to use this. What's that? It's a sonic screwdriver. Never fails. There we are. Neat, isn't it?
We have the Dr. Jamie and Victoria on the beach, and there's this pipe with this foam
and noise.
We see. You actually messaged me as well. I'm very impressed. We first see the sonic screwdriver.
I know. First appearance.
So had you heard of the sonic screwdriver?
Yeah, from what I've seen.
New Who stuff.
Whenever I see it, they always have a sonic screwdriver because it seems to solve everything.
Did you realise that it had appeared so early, though?
I was waiting for it to appear. I was surprised it didn't appear at the start, and I'm sure I commented on this.
Well, like the first Doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, I just thought it was a standard thing that the Doctor had. So I'm surprised it's taken till now for it to appear, because I am and I'm not, like,
well, here
getting
it's
to know
just
it.
a practical thing. It's just the Doctor needs to look at the pipe. Let's invent something that's for him to get into the pipeline.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's not like he's had this as a... It literally is a screwdriver that's sonic rather than anything else.
Because obviously the first Doctor had his ring.
Yes, he did, didn't he? I suppose that was the sonic screwdriver of the first Doctor,
his ring did
wasn't it?
lots of things. This, in my head, I was like, okay, so... Because whenever I think of the sonic screwdriver, it just gets them out of every single situation. It opens every door. Any issue they've got, the sonic screwdriver pretty much sorts it. You know, look at this, sonic screwdriver. Oh, door, that. You know, it does everything. So whenever I've seen, like, the Christmas specials, and that's their go-to item to solve any issue, I just thought that's just what the Doctor had. So I was really surprised that we didn't. But we had the first Doctor, and he had his ring that did a lot of, like, things. This Doctor had a flute.
It could have been a sonic flute.
Could have been a sonic flute. Gosh, how that would have changed Doctor Who forever. Maybe because I just thought it was a normal thing. It's talked about so much as a sonic screwdriver as well. Like, from what I do understand, every Doctor has their own version. Is that right? Or their own sort of, like, they have one, but it all looks different. I've seen interviews with, like, Graham Norton.
It's changed, but here it's the writer of this story just happens to write something for this scene.
I've seen a Graham Norton interview where, like, it was David Tennant and Matt Smith, and they were talking about obviously being doctors, and that their TARDISes were different. He was like, I like yours, They were saying that. And then they also talked about their screwdrivers and how theirs had, mine had this thing on it and mine had this. So I got I just thought it was just like, in the same way that the TARDIS apparently is different for each Doctor, the screwdriver. So when I started this, I was really surprised there wasn't one.
Right, and here it's just like it just looks like a pen, really.
Yeah, you don't even notice it.
Obviously you've only seen the animation as well.
Yeah.
Here it's just like a silver pen thing that takes off the screws for the pipe.
It's not even mentioned again after that. It's just one thing.
It's just the one thing. That's it.
It's
so
said
we'll see when it appears next then.
Yeah. Screwdriver watch.
Yeah. But that's what this story is, the first appearance of the sonic screwdriver,
Yeah. Is that what it's known for?
Well, not just that. But
that and Victoria leaving. But.
Yeah. And so we very much, they get tranquilised and end up on this base. And we meet Robson, who is...
a dick.
The most annoying lead. I mean, we've had... This season, you've had your leaders. You've had Clent in the Ice Warriors, who was very shouty and annoying.
Yeah.
Robson totally is worse. Who else have we had? Oh, who do we have?
I think I just messaged you going, he is so annoying and a dick.
There's so many different base leaders you meet in this series, but he is the worst. He is so annoying. And I think it goes back to me listening to cassette of this and just being like, this guy is just shouting so much.
He shouts and he's just rude and doesn't listen and abrasive. And, like, because obviously you don't know yet.
Well, you see, he starts off like that, doesn't he? And obviously later on, you know that he's been taken over.
Yeah.
But is this? Is he taken over straight away, or is this later on?
I don't know.
He's just always like that.
Because even later, when obviously he's not taken over, and he shouts at the guys that are going like, no one's changing over with you yet for a few minutes, and they're like, you're back. So he obviously is that person.
He is like that anyway, but he's just, from the off, he is just so annoying.
So annoying.
I'm glad you find him annoying as well.
Yeah.
Because
I don't really see how they could have had anything to do with it.
Well, I want your opinion, Harris. I'll ask for it. Meantime, lock them up in one of the cabins. I'll interrogate them later. And you lot, get back some work.
Is he always as charming as that? We've something of an emergency on at the moment. You see, we've just lost contact with one of our rigs at sea.
He's just, and then you've got Harris, who is the more sort of sympathetic, friendly friend of everybody.
Friend of the people.
Friend of the people. And this is where you learn there's the rigs out at sea. It sets it up fairly quickly. Once the Dr. Jamie and Victoria come round and they're in with the base and stuff, obviously Robson is very suspicious of them and everything.
Yeah.
But then the Doctor, they quickly, this happens quite a lot, they're sort of prisoners, but they're also allowed to walk around and they help out. And then they're just in the story from then on. So you've got this whole thing about Robson. I mean, I don't know how much you followed it in terms of the gas and the pipeline, and there's pressure building up, and there's issues out at sea. I don't know. I don't really care for that.
Yeah,
that
I mean, I
part
followed
of it.
the idea of it.
You follow it, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
You know that there's
It's
something
not-
going on, and Robson's not listening.
It's not the most complicated one. Like, we've had worse.
No,
is what I'm trying
but
to say.
I don't know. I quickly get bored of all the rig talk and the argument talk. A bit like the computer talk in the Ice Warriors. It goes on and on. They're always talking about the impeller. They're always talking about the gas. For every single episode, there's an argument about the gas.
Yeah, but this one makes more sense. This one's a very clear thing. Whereas, like, when I think of, like, Ice Warriors, for example, there's so much information. There's so, like, there's stuff I just didn't follow. Like, I had no idea what was going on. There was so much, like, technical talk. This one, it's very simple that there are noises going in the pipes where the gas is.
Yeah.
Like, ultimately, that is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's different people saying it and experience it. And, like,
There's a scene where it's explained to Jamie and Victoria, the guy that's working in the control. He's saying, this is how it is. This is, because obviously Jamie and Victoria wouldn't know anything about it. No. So they're the way in, aren't they? That he says, there's rigs out at sea and we do this.
It's a very
and it's pumped
clear
through
thing.
Here. Yes, yeah.
So I'm fine with that. It didn't bother me because ultimately, like, that's where it was coming from. In the same way in, like, what's the one with the crab?
Macroterra.
Macroterra.
Oh, it's very much like Macroterra,
Yeah.
because they were gas, weren't they?
They were gas.
Very similar.
And, like, it was outdoor. It was out in the fields, as it were, out, don't go out beyond this sort of thing. And it was in pipes. Like, that's fine. I can deal with that. So no, it didn't annoy me like some of the other ones where we've had recent, where it's so, like, technical. I'm like, I can't even follow this.
So someone has stolen Harris's papers out of his briefcase, or they're at home or something like that.
Yeah, they're not there.
A suspicious hand. You see a lot of that. And Maggie, his wife, she gets bitten by some seaweed, basically.
Cash.
So what are you thinking of that when this is... Are you getting into the story? Are you...
I mean, it's happening. Look, I'll say now, I watched 4. And then...
In a row?
Yeah, I did 4 in a row and then 2. So I followed this fine. And it didn't, like, annoy me. Where sometimes I've been like, I have to stop here because I'm getting frustrated with
I found it a little bit slow, some of it.
Early pace. No, I was fine with
it. But it
early
is
pace.
good because there's quite a lot of tension. So with Maggie and you get this sort of heartbeat.
So what I liked, I'll tell you what I liked about this. You knew because it's, are we still in the first story when that happened with Maggie? Hang on, or as it goes into the second?
In my notes, I've got Maggie gets bitten by seaweed in episode 1. But then she's ill in episode 2 from it. Yeah.
So from episode 2, you, the viewer, know that those 2 people have something to do with it. They don't even... It's not until like episode 5 that the other people are realise...
You're talking about Oak and Quill?
Yeah.
Right.
So I quite like that because quite a lot recently, it's such a mystery. I'm like, I want to know myself and I'm waiting for it to happen. And it's hard work. Like, I'm like, I'm trying to think, what was the last one we watched?
Enemy of the World.
Enemy of the World. No. Do I mean that?
Sorry, no, Web of Fear, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting...
We're going to blame the flu.
No, I might need to get some sweets in a minute. My blood sugar's gone really low.
Oh, has it? Go and get them now.
Hang on a second.
Go and get them now.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I could feel myself sweating.
What is it, love?
I don't know. I feel so dazed.
I don't know what's going on.
No, it's fine, Mark. You're not well. It's fine.
Right, sorry, carry on. I'll eat some sweets.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat these jelly babies.
What? No, hang on. What was it? Web of Fear?
Web of Fear was last, yeah.
Yeah. And that was the one with Double Doctor, wasn't it? No, it wasn't.
That was Enemy of the World.
Oh, gosh, I'm so... What was Web of Fear? Remind me.
Yeti in the Underground.
Oh, Yeti in the... Right, yes. So I am thinking of that one. Right, so we'll just start this again. It's like... the last story... It was 6th one. It wasn't until like literally the 6th episode where it's all revealed and it's all tied up. And as a viewer, I'm like, I just want to know as well. Like, You know, it was so much intrigue, but to the point of like...
What you're talking about with staff, you weren't sure... Well, you weren't sure who was working with the intelligence and stuff. And it went on, and the viewer didn't know.
Yeah, so you're waiting... Like, you're so in the dark. And sometimes, when something's really technical, I find it, personally, I find it really annoying being that in the... I just need something, you know? So maybe that's why this one wasn't as frustrating for me, because even though all the gas stuff and, you know, there's all that, where it's coming from, and, you know... I kind of knew enough of the other stuff happening for it to be like I knew that those two guys were bad.
I can't remember when you find out, really. I mean,
it's when they go to... She's not well. So it's in episode 2.
I was just saying, I felt a bit slow. She's not well. She's in bed.
Yeah.
And she's
So he goes to get the doctor, and then there's a knock at the door, and they appear, and they're like, we've been called over to do tests by so-and-so.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. So she's not been well. She's been lying down.
But I don't know if it's the animation, but there's a lot of her lying down and long shots and nothing really happening. Or maybe in the actual thing, there's a lot more sort of interesting visual things. But I think there's a lot of silence on the audio. And so she's just sort of lying there. That's what I mean by slow, where... Maybe the visuals don't match up to what should be happening. That's all. I thought it was
really suspense. I thought the animation.
I did write
really
in my
good.
notes Maggie Ill psychological horror, which is probably taking it a bit too far.
But actually, the animation's really good. Like, you know, some of them I have struggled with, and I was thinking, oh gosh, a 6 animation. It was really good. I thought, you know, and I had my moments where I laughed, where we had like the arms really long and stuff.
Yeah, the arms are a bit of a controversy on this one.
But yeah.
So just skipping back to the end of part 1, the cliffhanger to that is Victoria locked in the room.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's the weed and she's screaming and...
Yeah.
I mean, it's very... Victoria has been all right so far, but she's very screamy in this. For a reason, probably.
Well, we
for the
know
plot,
now. Yeah.
Now. But when you're watching it at the beginning, you're like, oh, really? She's just
but
to
actually,
scream. And actually her screams sort of merge in with some of the music.
Yeah.
It's all... Which is quite effective. A little bit annoying, but effective.
But actually, I felt it was set up quite well because it was only the last episode where I was like... I don't think she's going to... Like, there needs to be a change. And I could just tell... In the last episode, I was like, in the same way that Ian and Barbara had the one before they left where they were in the Science Museum and they were getting really ratty.
Yeah, but here, I'm not sure if they've written it with her knowing, but quite a few, from sort of part 3 onwards, I think, she says, oh, I'm getting a bit fed up.
They did. I looked it up.
3 or 4 times.
Don't worry, I've got this, Mark. I looked it up.
Yeah, okay, you go over to the... I can't cope this week.
No, I looked this up.
Yeah.
So she knew she only wanted to do a year, so she gave them 3 months' notice.
Oh, okay. So they knew then, because she says a lot, doesn't she? Oh, I'm fed up. Every episode she has a moment where she's like, oh, do we have to do this?
Yeah.
Do we have to?
But she hasn't for a while. It's only in the last few. So that's what
actually, in the Web of Fear, there was a little bit like, oh, where are we going now? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does sort of have that attitude, and that really heightens in this.
Yes. So I think it's done really well for her character because whereas like some of the other ones, they just go and you're like, oh, and obviously they didn't know. Because they knew she was going, it builds really well. Because like I said, it was only the last episode where I was like, she's not really doing anything. She doesn't seem happy. I don't think she's going to be around much longer. Like, I said it was only the last one where I really was like, I think like she's just now starting to be like pretty.
Yeah, I find her annoying in this.
Yeah,
I find her annoying because of that reason. I find her annoying.
But it fits because actually the whole point is her character to this point has not. This is a point where it's really like I am really not happy and I'm really not settled and this does not work for me. Yeah, but we've had a really nice build up to that moment. We've had her, settling in with the Doctor and Jamie. And then, I mean, they're really nice with her. I mean, what, she's supposed to be 15, 16?
Well, yeah, 14, 15, 16.
That sort of age, young, and they're really good with her. Like, she's no family, she's no parents or anything anymore. This is literally all she has. And they do sort of like look after her, more than what more than they did with Polly. I mean, Polly
Oh
didn't
yeah,
need
they're
it.
very different. Yeah, Polly didn't need looking after.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's done really well. I've no issue with it. Like, this is the first time where I was like, she needs to go. Like,
Okay,
and I knew she
that's
was going.
interesting. Okay.
I was like, she's moaning too much. She's
Right.
going.
I don't know. Maybe it's because you've got all the Robson moaning, and then you've got Victoria moaning, and then we meet Van Lutyens, who is the other expert.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're just shouting at each other all the time.
Yeah.
And that's where it just gets a bit repetitive for me.
Yeah.
Turn off the flow of the gas. No, we can't turn it off. Blah, blah, blah. Back and forth.
The trouble is, Robson does not budge.
No,
That's the issue.
Oh.
So you just find it really like
And it just heightens more and more as it goes right up to this moment where he's taken over.
yeah. And actually, him being taken over was a
Well, he's
surprise,
not-
but it wasn't.
Well, no, because he started off like that. There's not a change where he's taken over. He just carries on even more. You can just see the weed on him.
But you can see why he's so like no. Like it explains his when people are really pushing it and it's getting really bad, and he's like will not budge. And you're like, wow, this guy not budge. Like, so it wasn't a surprise because it was like that makes sense. It wasn't like a but. You know, like that character is just annoying. He's just grumpy and likes things his way and is a bit of an arse.
So the moment in part 2 with Oak and Quill visiting Maggie, that is a really well-known moment. The moment for this story because it's in these censor clips.
Yeah.
You saw the real clip because I was going to show you and you're like, I've already seen it.
I'm on it.
What?
I'm on it.
And that, I mean, it's such a... You can see why they edited it out, actually. Their face, it's really quite a horrific moment, and they recreate that very well in the animation, but watching the actual footage of that moment...
What are you doing in here? Is there something that you want?
It really is, isn't it?
So it's actually, watching the footage made me realise how good the animation was. Because the animation has the luxury. I mean, gosh, that apartment that they have is huge.
I mean, the only... Well, actually, the criticism of the animation is the sets are so massive.
They are.
When you see Maggie walking out to go to the door... to open it. It's huge. It's like...
they have a
it
massive
shouldn't-
house.
it doesn't
Vicky's
really
fine
matter.
living there. There is space for Vicky to... Victoria, sorry, not Vicky. Victoria.
Victoria can move in the same. Yeah, but it doesn't...
It doesn't fit the rest of the sets we know.
I don't know why they've done it. It's a sort of like a widescreen set for some reason with these little characters on there. I don't know why. I don't like that, actually.
Oh, I didn't... But they have the artistic licence to be able to do that.
Yeah, they can.
So...
yeah.
But that also means that because they have the artistic license, when they have these moments where you've got all the scary moments, they can make it seem more scary than what it might have been. An example being Macroterror.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You can use artistic license and do different angles and make it more...
The animation, it looks scary, and then you see footage of it and you're like, that looks crap.
Yeah.
So... But seeing that footage, I was like, this is really, like, they've done a really good job of how close that was. And actually, I was watching it and I could picture, because I watched it after I watched the episode, and I pictured it all. All the little nuances were there, everything. It was really good. So,
they're great characters, because I think it's just... I've heard it being described like this, but Tom Baker describes them as a psychotic Laurel and Hardy in the audio, and I think that's how they've been described ever since.
Absolutely, yeah. And
that's what
they're
they are.
great.
They are cartoony characters, even in the animation. Do you know what I mean?
I thought the animation was sort of taking the piss with it until I saw them.
Until you see it,
and I was like,
actually,
no.
that's what they are.
Yeah, and I was like, that's great. And I appreciated the animation even more because of how close that was.
And you wonder what the other bits might have been like. And
you see the foam.
And you do see the foam stuff. Yeah.
And the foam, actually, I preferred it in the animation. God, it must have just been a nightmare as well. And it's almost too much. Like, there's points where it's splurting everywhere, and I'm like, it must be getting on people. I don't know. I just, I'm sure it was like different. It's what was good about this is we haven't had anything like it before.
Well, even the Oak and Quill scene, I was thinking, I put this in my notes, that scene of her sort of being choking on the gas and the eyes and the mouths and stuff, you wouldn't have even got that last season. You wouldn't get that in the first Doctor story.
No.
It shows how much the show has changed.
Yeah.
For that moment
completely.
to be in that, you wouldn't get that with the William Hartnell at all.
No.
Because it's also sort of set contemporary in it's for kids watching it. Must have been great. And this is a story that people want found. It's on people's lists. This is a popular one to be found, I think.
Yeah.
Because you've only got those tiny little moments that exist. Even one episode of this, even that whole episode would be amazing.
I think one
to
would
see.
be nice to see,
Because I'd like to see them, Maggie answering the door and seeing what actually that looks like.
It feels very
in.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
It's great. I thought it was really good. I was very like...
And the sound of it as well, the heartbeat noise, the music and everything together with the imagery works really well.
Do you think, I mean, obviously, when this was out, young kids watched it. So I'm going to go to the Harry Potter books.
Right.
And she wrote them for the ages that they were for. So, the first book came out and it was aimed for that sort of age, that sort of year 6, year 7, high school. And as the books get older and darker, the language changes in Harry Potter books. And she writes for that age. So I don't know if you knew that. So by the last book, she wrote it for people that would be 18.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
I only read the first 2.5.
So that's she always aimed the books for that age, that audience. And as the stories get darker, the sort of the language develops, everything with it. Whereas when you read the first one, it's literally for years. I remember because it's my age, year 6, 7.
I read the first one, year 7,
Yeah. So it's that sort of thing. I wonder whether Doctor Who, in a similar sort of way, when you think of when it first came out and the age that it was sort of aimed for, whether the series has sort of grown with that age. Because I can't, when I think of the first one, I imagine 9, 10-year-olds, watching it.
Well, season 1?
Yeah.
I
don't know,
because I think by this time it's still on the same time on a Saturday at 5:30. But I don't think it's changed its time slot.
I wonder whether they're expecting that these are more teenagers maybe watching it now, so they can go a bit darker.
Maybe it's more known as a family show. I don't know really about that. Yeah.
I'm just wondering,
sure if they're aiming it. They have definitely made it scarier.
Yeah. And the topics and even the language. I mean, some of it is hard to follow. It's really technical.
With all this, that's what I mean. With all this impeller stuff and everything.
Yeah.
As a child listening to the cassette, I was like, I don't actually know what an impeller is.
Yeah.
Or what it's trying to do. I know there's a problem in this factory or whatever it was when I was listening to it, but I did not understand how this gas and this rig and everything worked.
No. So that's what I mean. I wonder whether
And it's same with the ionizer and
I wonder whether it's
that.
sort of aged with its audience a little bit.
Yeah,
as
probably a little
as
bit, yeah.
The target market grew older,
maybe.
It got a little bit darker. Not darker, but it took that creative
And I
license.
suppose television generally is changing in that.
Yeah.
From 63 to where are we?
69?
7 or 8
Oh gosh,
now?
you're so lonely there.
Yeah. It's only 5 years. 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but that's definitely this whole story, it definitely has darker moments. Going into part 3 then, we've got a nice scene in the TARDIS lab. There's a bit of a science lesson, and Victoria's got a Bunsen burner and knows how to do that, and she knows her science from her father. Yeah. And this is where you start to get, when did you get the sort of screaming and the gas? She screams when it goes away, and the doctor says, "Oh, that's funny."
Probably
Hint,
just then.
hint. Yeah.
I hadn't. It's not really until they're in the
much later on.
that I really clocked it. But they always do stuff like that, don't they? They drop little things. I mean, it was fine. I watched it. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of characters and things going on.
And then Robson is taken over properly here. We've already talked about Victoria getting fed up. There's a bit of an action sequence with Jamie climbing when they go to, because Mrs. Harris or Maggie is disappeared, isn't she, through the window, and then they when they're investigating, all the foam comes up and Jamie has to climb through the kitchen roof, and there's a bit of an action sequence there. That would have been cool to see. Yeah, you get that. And they call up, because Robson's going off on one, and they call up Megan Jones to come in. So she's going to come in a bit. She's like the head of whatever.
Get another character in.
You get another character later on. This in episode 3, they call her up and she's on her way. The cliffhangers actually they're not amazing, because one of them is just like Van Lutzen saying like, it's in the impeller waiting for us, or something like that. Maggie walking into the sea though is a good one. Yeah, that's at the end of episode 3. Yeah, where she just goes off.
I think that's what made me, because I think I was thinking, can I do 4? And I watched that and I was like, I'll do one more. Yeah, so it was enough to make me carry on.
Oh, there we go. That means it's a good cliffhanger if Sarah wants to watch. Then going into part 4, there's some nice scenes. This is Victoria getting reflective, I've written. So Jamie is asleep in the bunk beds, and Victoria, there's actually time in this story, because it's 6 episodes. Yeah. It's not necessarily padding, but there's time for her to sit down with Jamie and have a little bit of a chat.
And they knew she was going. So it's not like, that's right.
Because I think in this, Victoria gets more moments than any other companion has so far. I mean, think of Dodo. I mean, Dodo. At least...
Even you don't know really how bad it is, do you?
Well, no, not exactly.
Every time we go anywhere, something awful happens. With Daleks, Cybermen...
Yeti?
Yes, and Yeti. Why can't we go anywhere pleasant? Where there's no fighting. Just peace and happiness.
In that scene, basically Victoria's like, can't we go somewhere where there's peace and happiness? Yeah. So it's nice to have those character moments, because we haven't really had that. I mean, not even Susan had that when she was thinking of getting married.
No. But also it was needed, because those characters weren't doing anything. It kind of reminded me why I liked Jamie, for example. Like, for the last few, they haven't really done much. So it was nice, like you say, it was nice for them to have that sort of time to do it. And like I say, it was sort of a planned thing. She's had a whole story to she's had quite a bit of build-up here anyway, a little bit. This is like her moment as a character, so... Yeah.
And then after that sort of brief sort of slow down, we go straight back in. Van Lutzen goes down into the impeller. I think he gets got. Yeah. Megan Jones arrives. And then into part 5 and 6, we get Zombie Robson, I called him. Yeah. Captures Victoria, of course. Of course she's got to get captured. Yeah.
The footage that I saw where you see his scaly hands is funny.
Yes. Well, with the weed, yeah.
Just like sticks coming out of his hands.
It would be, yeah. It's interesting to see how they would have done. So I think in the animation, they've really gone to town on it. I think when they're in the rig thing and there's all of them as zombies, I think it's just Robson. I don't think all those other characters are there.
That's what I mean. Artistic
and he's
license.
Not got the big tentacles or anything like that. It's all just some stuff shoved off his shirt and that's it. Yeah. Helicopter ride again. Yeah. Whole helicopter sequence. And actually the Doctor does even mention Astrid as well. When he's like, Astrid versus Robson in a helicopter race. Who is going to win?
Astrid.
Yes.
Astrid, of course.
Do you think they just booked that helicopter and we've still got it from the Enemy of the World list?
Got to get a quick, helicopter. But also, we've had Astrid, of course, with the whole flying sequence there, with Robson. Then we have the Doctor later flying it, and we've had quite a lot of flying beasties, haven't we recently? This is the flying beasties season.
So when Victoria's captured, I think she's unconscious, but she'd be like, "Oh, great, another helicopter." Yeah,
the helicopter's really random. I thought you would have taken her away to down a secret passage or something, down a tunnel or something. It's really odd that it goes in a helicopter.
Well, I think it's on this rig in the middle of the sea, which is all the which is the foam sort of base, which is what they've taken over.
Just really,
and you can only get there by helicopter. So.
Apparently, yeah, it's just a really odd thing. Considering they never even talk about getting to other places. I don't know. It's an odd thing, kind of like the whole Astrid with a helicopter, I guess. But
then obviously you've got that when the Doctor's flying the helicopter, and all that. I haven't seen I need to see the telesnaps of that. because it's a long sequence.
It is.
With the Doctor, Jamie and Victoria flying, and then you've got all the tentacles coming out the sea. I don't think any of that happened in the actual thing. They must have just been flying around, because you've got the soundtrack, but I don't know if they are dodging. What are they dodging?
I reckon, like, visually they were like, oh no!
Yeah, do you think it's just them,
yeah,
like, filmed from the ground, and they're just like... Yeah. But it goes on a long time.
It does go on a long time. And maybe, I reckon it was like a, oh no, and then, like, a footage of, like, a tentacle.
I don't even know if there's any tentacles yet.
I reckon they could have done that.
We'll have to watch the telesnap version.
They'll have done, like, a little pool.
A little model of
a little model,
or something, yeah.
And then, like, sort of be snapped to a tentacle, and like, oh no! Never tentacle moving in water, but no helicopter. Just you see it.
Yeah. Something
but again,
like that.
This is where, like, actually it's really nice having the animation, because it can do all that. It makes it more interesting.
And you're not changing the sound or anything.
No.
You're sticking with the soundtrack. You can just add all that stuff in. It's very clever. Yeah.
It's interesting, and it fits. It's good.
And it adds a bit more interest, because otherwise, it wouldn't be very interesting.
No, it's good. I like it.
And then we find out that it's Victoria's scream that can defeat the seaweed, which is such a great Doctor Who answer to something, isn't it? It's a good idea. All sound waves, doesn't have to be Victoria's scream, but the fact that it is the Victoria's screaming.
Yeah, and she's done so much of it, bless her.
Exactly, she is definitely the one that screamed the most, I think. Yeah. So far.
She screamed more than Susan.
Yeah, well, Susan sort of cried a lot more than screamed.
Yeah, she's just more moany.
Yeah.
I say that though, Victoria's pretty moany.
Well, this is the thing. I thought she was more moany than she has been, apart from this one.
But then the whole point of it is...
But the whole point, she needs to scream every time she sees the weed, because that's how they work it out.
Yeah.
She didn't actually need to scream every single time.
No.
But she had to. So it's rigged up. They do these sound waves things, and the seaweed and everyone just goes, and everyone's all right. Where does it go? It's not like they killed it and it's gone forever.
I know.
It's just gone back into the sea for a bit.
It's a good job Victoria's staying, isn't it?
They need her on standby to scream later on. And then at the end, I know we skipped through the story quite quickly, but they're all like cheering and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh, they've been defeated," and then Victoria just cries. They're like, "Oh, okay."
That whole thing where they were talking to Robson, they were like, "Are you right?" And he's like, yeah. And then everyone's like, "Wow, yeah." And then like, shh. And then he said something else, and he's like, yeah. Like that. And there was one bit of audio that I can't remember what it was, but it really made me laugh. It's like an extra in the background, like, "Oh, we won the day," something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was really funny. You hear it really clearly. It's like the very last thing that's said in all the scream, like, "Ah!" And then this one, like, extra's obviously just ad-libbing, and it's been picked up on audio, and it really made me laugh. But I wish I could remember exactly what it was. It was just like, "Yay, we're celebrating!" That's all I think.
And unusually, they stay around for quite a bit after after the defeat.
Which we've missed.
Which we haven't had, have we?
No.
So they all go to dinner.
Yeah.
It's so strange. There's Maggie and Mr. Harris and Robson all sitting there having a lovely dinner party
Bear in mind, the last, 3 we've been saying, they've just gone.
Yeah. And there's obviously, they're all having a dinner party and Victoria's looking very sad.
Yeah. Quite obvious in the animation.
Really
and this character is sad.
She's just not smiling. Do not smile. And Robson's like, "Oh, he's back to normal and all having a great time and everything." Yeah. That's funny. That should have been the introduction. We should have been at that dinner table. Damn.
Never mind. You're not well. It's fine. Yeah. We'll let this one fly.
And then there's a really nice scene with Victoria and Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll be happy here?
Oh, I think so. The Harrises are very nice people.
Yes, I know that, but they're not from your time, are they?
I wouldn't be at ease back in Victorian times. I had no parents or family left there anyway.
That's true. Oh.
Jamie.
Yes?
You wouldn't go without saying goodbye, would you?
That's so...
It's all nice.
Where she's deciding should she stay or anything. Oh, and Jamie loves Victoria.
Yeah.
I mean, but he doesn't even consider staying with her.
I think It's interesting because
He doesn't question.
So here's the thing. I think he loves her as a sister. I don't think he's in love with her.
No, I think he's in love with her.
No, I don't. I think she's young.
No, I think he is in love with her.
I think
completely.
I think he loves her in like a, because they care about her, because she's no family or anything, and he's sort of looked after her.
But he doesn't even I don't know.
But that's what I mean. If he was in love with her,
because he's like, oh, you need to, and she's like, no, I'm staying. He's like, okay, me and the doctor are off. He doesn't even question that he's not going to go with the doctor.
That's why I don't think he's in love with her.
I see what you mean, but oh no, it's just so sad. And
it's nice to think that he's in love with her.
No, I think he is.
But I think, yeah, exactly. It's nice to think it, but
I'm really glad there are those scenes there.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't and then they sort of say goodbye on the beach, and she stays with the Harry. What do you think of her staying in this new type? That's unusual for a companion to. Well, it's not really, because Vicky did it, I suppose. But
and Susan.
And Susan, yeah, okay, it's not unusual. But for Victoria not to, she doesn't want to go back to Victorian times.
Well, she knows too much.
And she's in the late 60s here with these people
she's
that
in
she's
the
only
20th
just
century?
met.
Yeah, I think it's weird that
I think it's weird that it's Maggie and what's his name?
I don't know who else it could be, though.
Yeah, no, but it's just unusual, isn't it, that suddenly, yeah, you can stay as long as you like. What if they're like, you've got to go next week?
So it's weird because they haven't interacted. So
well, no, that's the thing, yeah, they don't, do they?
Like, Maggie and Vicky have literally they've had dinner.
She came around for dinner and never left.
Yeah. It's like me sometimes. But yeah, that it's a nice choice because they are nice people. Like, we followed them as characters.
We know they're nice. Throughout this whole thing, they have been the sympathetic friend.
Yeah.
They've not had any. Yeah, in this story, they're the ones to stay. There isn't anyone else.
It's just odd because Vicky has not once interacted with. I mean, even to the point, Victoria. I keep saying Vicky. Sorry, Victoria. Soz. The doctor and Jamie go to the house to see Maggie.
Yeah, no, I think she's there. I think Victoria is there. I can't remember.
I don't think she's there. I'm sure that's why they leave her behind, and then she gets the whole screaming with the seaweed. Or is that like I don't know?
I can't remember.
I just feel like there's not even like any like talking with them.
Not much, no.
Yeah, I know she's ill and stuff, but like even if it was just like how are you feeling now? Oh, I still feel a little bit like something, and like a conversation just them or her with Harris, like I don't know, maybe because she has been working things out, maybe she's the one that could have like I don't know, something,
I know what
but there's nothing.
I know what you mean.
There is nothing.
So I'll just let you know what happens to Victoria after she leaves.
Go for it.
In spin-offs and according to TARDIS Wiki. I love doing this. So let's see what people have made Victoria do. Here we go. Life after the Doctor.
Okay.
Victoria settled down in the 20th century with her foster parents before being visited once more by the Doctor, who was in his 7th incarnation.
Ooh.
He took her to London in February 1868, where Victoria took care of her father's fortune and visited her aunt, Margaret Waterfield.
That's nice.
Before returning to the 20th century. In 1909, her aunt was murdered by thugs.
Oh.
In 1980, she returned to Tibet and the Great Intelligence for a third time, which we've seen.
We've seen that.
Yep. Here we go. Victoria married and had several children.
Oh.
As of presumably 2008, one of her children was expecting Victoria's first grandchild. By this time, she considered her days travelling with the Doctor as the most exciting, vivid and terrifying of her life. She never told her family of her travels in the TARDIS or that she was from the 19th century.
Mm.
Oh, in the 21st century, Victoria became involved in the protest against nuclear energy.
Interesting.
And she met the 6th Doctor. That's about it, really. There's not really much. It's not like a Polly or a Dodo. And do you know what? I think Victoria's quite a bland character
so bland.
Compared to and it shows that not even in the spin-offs or anything, nothing that interesting has happened to her.
No, she is. She's like, just a little bit. She's just a little bit underdeveloped.
Yeah, I've wrote here on my notes. She started as a wet bush, and I put and finished as a foam bush, but I don't even know what that means. Wet bush to foam bush, but
wet bush to foam. Yeah,
yeah, like. I was thinking, maybe that's why I was expecting not to like her. Because she's done these stories, they're all right. I've never known her apart from that downtime video, which she's not amazing in, she hasn't been expanded even by like fans or any of those books or nothing interesting has ever happened to her.
I don't hate her.
Yeah,
I don't have anything.
I don't find her interesting. I think that's what it is.
I just feel a little bit nothing. She's just she's very underdeveloped as a character.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Like, and the thing, she's young. So her character's young, and it's a shame that... So if I think of Vicky, for example, Vicky was young. I'm talking about Vicky here. I'm not making Vicky Victoria, sorry.
Yeah.
So if I think of Vicky, she was young, but then you saw her, like, she spent a lot of time with the Doctor to begin with, and then she sort of, like, grew into this sort of, like, strong, sort of, you know, kind of not rebellious, but, like, revolutionary...
Well, she had, she was up for sort of change and those kind of things, but she had her science knowledge, very intelligent. She was interested in things. She wanted to sort of explore. And Victoria here is just like, oh, let's go to somewhere peace and happiness where nothing really happens.
Which is
and
fine.
It's all relaxed. She doesn't have any ambition.
No, which is fine, but it's a shame that we don't see... Like, all she comes across as is someone with no ambition. There is nothing wrong with wanting to just have a nice settled life.
No, yeah,
it's just a shame that we don't see that transition to that point. In fact, like, it's only now that it's like, no, I just want to... I don't know, it's just done in a very sort of blah way.
Yeah.
And actually, it could have been in a really, like... You know, I don't have my family or anything like that anymore, and I just want to be somewhere and settled and have family. Like, that's okay. That's allowed. There's nothing wrong with that in life. It's just done in a really odd way, and it's a shame because they have developed characters very well in the past, especially young characters that, you know, are just starting out their journeys. Vicky didn't have any family. Vicky was the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Superior Vicky.
Yeah. And so, it's they have done it before. And it's just a shame that it's okay that she was, that was her character. I suppose
she had to be different coming after Polly.
Yes.
Maybe that's what they were thinking.
But they just didn't give her anything.
No.
Really to go with. She was literally just there as a companion. She doesn't...
Yeah, that's her role. That was it.
One of the first 2 or 3, she's pretty good. Like, she's very useful and she's very involved. And then the last few, she's just... Her or Jamie, they've just not done all.
Well, she's gone.
She's gone.
Yeah.
We've still got Jamie.
And we've still got Jamie.
Jamie's been around for a while.
Yeah, he has.
He's a long companion.
Yeah, he is, yeah. And we also watched a bit of Deborah Watling's Mythmakers video I showed you.
Yeah. And she seems nice.
And she's nice, yes. Yeah. And I've met her once.
Oh, okay.
Which I'll just tell everyone about because I forgot, I haven't done this yet. So I met her at the Shepton Mallet event, which is the Annika Wills book signing. Same time. And she was so nice. Like Deborah Watling, she was so nice.
Yeah.
But I remember in the queue in front, you get people like this sometimes. They had like this poster with all the companions, and they were like, write Victoria Waterfield here. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, use this pen and write Victoria Waterfield here. And she was like, oh, okay. Right, do I sign it to anyone and anything? And they're like, no, just write this and then write your name there. And I was like, oh, why are you being horrible to Deborah Watling? Like, I don't know, just really forceful. But she was so lovely. She was like, oh, okay, yes. Da, da, da. Oh, I'll have to show you the thing that I got signed from her. And I got a photo. This was before the proper photos. This was just on a digital camera photo. And I was like, what did I say to her? Something like, she said she'd driven all the way there from Essex. And I was like, really? All that way? I was like, that's hours. And she was like, yeah. Oh, but yeah, that was all really. But she was lovely. She really was. Yeah. Really nice. Not like an Annika Wills.
No.
In any way.
No, she seemed it in the footage and stuff, and just seemed really nice.
Yeah. So, that is Victoria, another companion.
Yeah. Hopefully this makes Jamie a bit more interesting.
Well, so we just Dr. Jekyll. So what do you think's going to happen
next?
So we've got one more story now before the end of the season.
I'll
tell you what it's called, shall I?
I can't decide whether they're going to get a companion straight away or not.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I thought
So the next one's called The Wheel in Space.
Oh. So I feel it's in the future. And that's all I know. Oh gosh, the wheel. It feels like a spaceship that's a wheel more than a. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. I resubscribed my Britbox yesterday. So.
Oh, did you? Well, there's on Britbox. It's an exclusive reconstruction on Britbox.
What?
Of The Wheel in Space.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which I've never seen.
That is interesting. So it is on there.
So it is on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because you texted me, you almost watched it.
Is it this? You're like, no.
I always have to text you the next story is called this. Please reference this when you go on Britbox.
I don't know.
Don't just press the next one. Cool, there we go. Right. Well, I think that's it. I think we better go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm exhausted, actually. I'm feeling...
Shall I finish us off?
Me. Sure.
I'll try.
Okay,
so
yeah,
you can
go for
find
it.
us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's correct.
And you can support us on Buy Me a Coffee /2WatchWho. And yeah, that's it. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. I'll be more with it, I promise.
It's a good job I'm here, Mark.
Bye.
Bye.
To Watch Who.